Yeah. So hello, a very warm welcome to the VR show, the show which talks about all the various major football leagues in detail. Today we are going to continue a theme of interviews, and we have Mr. Matteo Campodonico, who is the founder of Wyscout. So for those of you who do not know, Wyscout is an Italian company that kind of deals in all maybe football scouting, match analysis. You can go and access a lot of footage is there, and according to what plan you use, I personally have used it, I think like 4 or 5 years back when I was doing some course and it was part of the course. So yeah, so without wasting much time, I would like to first thank Matteo for coming on the show during this hard time all around the world. And Matteo, I'll begin with how are you and what are you doing?
Okay, thanks for the invitation. I'm first time for me talking with some Nepal journalist, so it's a pleasure. Happy because it means that Wyscout uh, is has arrived everywhere, so this is I'm really proud of that. I'm okay, of course. Difficult and special time for the pandemic, but I think we are recovering slowly everywhere in the world. So hopefully we are getting better and better in the next month.
Definitely. And yeah, how I was introduced to Y Scout was I was doing a course, I think, based from a company in the United States. It was, I think, Sports Management Worldwide. So I was doing a course with them regarding football and maybe scouting. And yeah, so they were like, we had to do our projects through Y Scouts, where like you had to get the footages and everything. So it was like amazing, like like you could access probably everything, and I found it very useful.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
So,
much.
so I wanted to ask, I was like curious, like, for you personally, how did you get into football? Like,
But I started my company because I played football, amateur, not professional. But when I was 17, I found a coach. I had a coach that used a lot the videos to teach the team. So he used to show us the videos of our recording games or the videos of the opponent, mm, to analyze the opponent, to prepare the game. I found the video very useful because today I can remember now the actions that my coach showed me years ago. For example, he showed us also Baggio, Fowler, Van Basten, to teach us how to do things, how to move, how to kick the ball. Mm. Today, of course, YouTube is for that, no? But when I played football, YouTube still didn't exist. Mm. So different times now, but I started. Then I stopped playing. I started I continued my studying economics. Then I started working for a consultancy company. mm, for, but during that, I wanted to do something for myself. I started the idea to have my own company. So I thought a lot of things, but one day I started thinking how to introduce technology in football, because football was my big passion. I realized that what my coach did, mm, was very useful. So the idea was, okay, I could reply what my coach did, but of course, not in an artisanal way, but in a more sophisticated and advanced way. So with a friend of mine, we started our own company. But the first company was two of us recording the games in the amateurs field in Italy and analyzing the game for the coaches. So very simple, but thanks to that, we started analyzing game. We started getting familiar with the coaches, with the teams. Uh, One day we presented our job to the Genoa. Genoa is a Serie A team in Italy. the coach told us, "Hey guys, you are great. I I I propose you to start analyzing the game for my staff, for Genoa." So it was the first professional team. Of course, we were at the beginning, but starting working with the professional team, they started asking us to analyze not just the team, no, but also the players. So one day, the sport director of Genoa told me, "Matteo, I want to buy a player in Colombia. I need a video analysis, and because I need to understand the potential of the player, you know, bad things and, and good things." So we started collecting videos from Colombian football, from internet, and we analyze the game, the player, then another player, then another player, then another player. Then we started working with 2 teams in Serie A, then 3 teams, then 4 teams. In 2008, we had the 8th Serie A team, but the problem was that we used to analyze hundreds of players every month, so we needed a lot of people. So we found no, this is impossible because how can we scale? How can we grow? We need thousands of people here had to analyze players. So I had the idea of Wyscout, of what today is Wyscout, the idea to transform a sort of manual activity, analyzing the player one by one, into a big platform. The idea was, okay, we don't need to analyze on demand, on request, one by one, but we have to analyze all the games, all the players playing in the world. So the idea was, okay, guys, we have to collect every game played in the world in a big platform, and we have to analyze, of course, in a more analytic and in a more industrial process all the games. So we started the what is today Wyscout. That is this big platform where you can enter, you look for a player, you found this player, you can watch all statistics, all videos, any kind of video. So it's a sort of a super big database of football.
Definitely. So right now, how many, like, I what I saw in your website, it's like 90 plus countries. How many teams, if you have a rough idea, how many teams or players are you covering?
But Sicily, we cover more or less 19, 19 leagues, means that we work generally with the first division and the second division too. And depends, of course, on the level of the country. We started, for example, in the more developed country, we cover 5 levels of football plus the youth. In Italy, in England, in Spain, Wyscout is analyzing till the 5th level of football, all the games. So we collect 50,000 games per year. Now, of course, Wyscout is a big company, is part of an American group, Huddle. The combination of the two company made a super super group with more than 2,000 football analysts. Of course, to analyze every game in the world, we need a lot of people, but of course the approach is scientific. So I think it's a very hard job because football is played everywhere, anytime, every day of the year. So it's a never-ending process, but it's fascinating.
So do you personally still analyze or you don't?
No, I stopped analyzing, of course, because the company became complex. Of course, I started developing the company, developing everything. So, but it's of course it was my first job.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask you, like you said, like when you started, you and your friend were maybe recording and maybe analyzing, but like that is what maybe like you said, Genoa invited you and probably asked you to do for them. But when you started hiring people to do, because your work was getting bigger, they would have to have same level of analysis as you, because that is what you are selling.
Of course, first initially we didn't have any money, so the first guys that started working for the company were friend of us, parents, flatmates. So because really, just we asked, do you love football? Come with us, and that was the first approach. Of course, as the company grew, we needed to, of course, become more professional. So, for example, we started hiring people using a process of sort of scouting the people. We used to apply to make some tests, football tests. eh. To start it working Wyscout, they needed to pass a test about football knowledge, general knowledge, uh, tactical knowledge, technical knowledge. So most of the guys that started working the initially with us were, for example, former coaches, guys that stopped playing at a certain level. Uh, that was for us was more important to have football knowledge that tech knowledge, IT knowledge. For us, Wyscout, of course, is a tech company with, but of course, on the back there is a 10% are tech guys working on the platform, on the development of the software, and so on. 60% are football guys.
Definitely. And you said like how like when you began it, it was like how long was this process, like going from team to team to maybe having a company, like you said, like now when you look back it looks small, but it would have been very long time.
Yeah, it was a long process. Also because uh, in today in every country of the world, everyone talks about startup.
Mm.
Starting up a company, getting some investors, is something that today is familiar. Is something that became normal. Okay, a business plan, a pitch to pitch a project, and so on. When I started, really, it wasn't. Mm. So I started alone. For I didn't have the idea, no, of the process, because we are in Italy, in a small town. We are not in Milan, or we are not in US. Mm. Of course, if Matteo in US in 2004, probably the company would have been started in 2 years. In Italy, I spent 4 years before realizing, oh, we have something. We have something to develop. Uh, now we can look for investors. Uh, I looked for investors after 4 years of going one by one, investing all my money, all my time, involving people for nothing, because salaries at the beginning was very low. People worked more for passion than for a salary. Uh, of course, now times are different.
And you said like you went around looking for investors, did they believe you? Because it is difficult, like you said, back then it was not like maybe like starting a business or entrepreneur is not was not something common like what it is now.
I agree with you. I was very lucky because I found a sort of business father. They say business angel. I also say business father, because he believed in me more than in my business plan. Also because when you start a project, the idea is not clear. You need time before to being more focused, to define your idea, your project, your platform. At the beginning, for example, at the beginning, I just wanted to develop something for Italian clubs. I didn't imagine that Wyscout could work everywhere in the world, because my knowledge of international football was very poor at the time. So my initial business plan was I want to serve, to provide solutions, different solutions for Italian clubs. Not just scouting, but scouting, match analysis, media solutions for media department of the clubs. That was my initial business plan. The investor believed in me more than because I spent years believing in that. I left my job. I had a good job before. I left my previous job to build my project, to build my dream. He loved that. So he told me, Matteo, you deserve some help. I want to help you. So he financed the company. After that, we started structuring the project. I told you the initial business plan was tech solutions for Italian clubs. After 2 years, the business plan was just scouting for the world. So this is what I learned.
Definitely. And yeah, I mean, I see where you come from, because right now in Nepal, because again, I am aware of Voice Scout, but many people are not aware of Voice Scout. Maybe even other companies, like maybe Longo Match, or maybe other, they do not know. Many people do not know, or even once they don't know. So I was thinking exactly what you're thinking. So maybe I'm in the same boat. Maybe I never know down the line.
Of course, I think there is still space. Of course, market is different now, because when we started, we were the beginner in scouting. Match analysis was a bit different, because mainly in a department, football department, there are the coaching staff that needs match analysis system solutions to prepare the game and to analyze the game. The scouting department, recruiting department, they need a solution to recruit players that are video solution, data solution, and so on. Then there is another big area that is performance. So everything related to monitor the performances of the players. Could be a lot of solution. Today, we are in the data era. So there are a lot of data solution that measure everything. And so it means that in the last 5 years appeared many players. Today, for a club, is normal to buy technology to support the coach, the fitness coach, the medical area, and so on. But of course, I think technology never stopped improving. So I think it's important to work in an industry, to be involved in the industry. When you are inside, you understand what is missing. It's different, the other process, that you are outside, you think something. You must be inside a sector to realize really what the industry needs.
Definitely. And like, of course, it might not have been a very easy path, like from when you started till now. What was the biggest difficulty that you faced?
But the I think it's not related to the business. Mm. Uh, what is difficult is, of course, build a company is not easy. Mm. We started in two. Now Wyscout is more or less 400 people. Mm. Of course, if you are a startupper, it means mainly that you never managed a company. Uh, so managing a company, it's a hard job. It's probably it's one of the hardest job, and because you need a lot of skills. Mm. Of course, I think startuppers, entrepreneurs must be aware of that. That it's about people, it's about legal, it's about technology, it's about processes. Uh, so I think it's a great challenge. You need you can do that alone. That is what I learned. Entrepreneurs must have good partners. Mm, that help them with the vision, with the strategy, with the day-by-day decisions. I think my job was taking solution, taking decision. Mm. My first job was that. At the beginning, okay, I was involved in the analysis, but more the company grew, my role was getting decision every day.
Definitely. And you said like how technology keeps evolving, and there is always a space for someone coming new if they can adjust with the technology or what is required in the market. For do you what is Voice Scout planning for ahead? Like, is there anything else like to up the game?
But of course, I give you some examples. Uh, we started where internet connection was very low everywhere in the world. So our first Wyscout one was not digital,
Okay.
was a system of DVD production. Mm. Our archive was a DVD archives. We just sent DVD to the clubs. Mm. Then internet arrived. So we started digitalizing the DVD, archiving in a sort of big Dropbox for videos. Of course, people at the beginning could not stream; they just downloaded. Then connections improved, so people started streaming the videos. At the beginning, we just sold a video library. Today, you cannot just sell a video library. Clubs will tell you, hey, what's that? We need data. So today, we are producing data. From every game, we collect 1,000 of data points. Today is normal for a user, for a scout, no? Put together a video and a data. Statistics of the player, of the game, of his career. Next step surely will be business intelligence on data. Decision will be data-driven decision. Also in recruiting a player. It's normal. Today, can you buy a house not filtering the houses in the market by size, by position? No, it's normal. filter. No, filtering is with the player the same. The 10 years ago, they just recruiters, sport director, they just have one filter, the name. A friend of mine told me, an agent told me, this guy is good. I look for Sanchez. Today, you are not looking for Sanchez. You are okay. Agents are in the market, consultants are in the market, but also you don't start recruiting a player with the name. You start looking at the player with the features you need. According our style of playing, 4-3-3, we need the player in position 5. We want a player not too young, with some experience in European Cups, with national presences, that at least makes 3 assists, three crosses per game, and so on and so on and so on. This is a big, of course, revolution, still not completed, because it's a cultural process. Of course, more, I think, just now 30% of people recruits player also with data. 70% still using just the videos. So there is a lot of space here. On the other side, data, intelligence of data just at the beginning. I think in 10 years, you will have a suggestion from the system. I saw you are playing these schemes. The system will suggest you to look at these players in the world. The business intelligence of data. But also the system could tell you also which coaches in the world can fit your football strategy. And so on. Of course, so there is a big space here in data. There are companies that are trying to helping clubs to predict the injuries. So there are systems that are claiming that thanks to their system, the coach has to not to put in the pitch the player. They create alerts. Don't put in the pitch him because he will get injured. It's something that for a coach is crazy, no? Because it's something that, but it is part of the process of evolution. In every industry, it is happening, also in football.
Definitely. And you said like how, like in 10 years maybe they can the AI can even probably suggest you like how, what you should be doing, like should you buy this player. But that you can always do right now also, because you are, like you said, when you were doing with Serie A 8 teams, when you are maybe analyzing 8 teams, you knew what the other team is doing because you are doing it for them.
Yeah, of course. Is the value of the data era is that in the past you just started from your knowledge, no? The knowledge in your mind that is limited. Today, of course, in our database, you can find players from everywhere. So it's just the algorithm that look for players independently about where they are. So the potential of discovering talents, I think, is 100 times more. In fact, what happened in the last year is that now more there are no boundaries anymore in football. Boundaries are just the rules that every country, every football federation apply. But this is the only boundaries. In the past, the limit was the knowledge. No one in the past could see Ecuador second division. So it was impossible for a Spanish club to buy Ecuador second division player, because no knowledge, no videos, no data. So the risk was too high. Today, no, you have everything.
Definitely. And like, do you think like, although the pandemic has been difficult for everyone, the COVID, do you think that helped you all? Because probably now people can't move maybe manual scouting, so they have to come to you or maybe other companies like you.
Yeah, of course, pandemic pushed all the digital platforms. Wyscout is a remote platform. At the end, we anticipated a bit what is today's mandatory. So yes, definitely. It means that, for example, in a club, for example, Rome in Italy, yes, Rome, they had 10 scouts. They have 10 scouts that used to go to the stadiums, and other 10 scouts just watching scouting players through Wyscout. Today, all of them are scouting through Wyscout. So the number of users increased a lot in last year for Wyscout, for every platform.
Definitely, definitely. And like, I'll ask you more personal questions now. And which is your favorite club?
Hey, of course, Genoa. It was the first club that we approached successfully. So I remember when Genoa, I used to go to the stadium watching Genoa games when I was younger. So it was great for me when Genoa called me. Hey guys, we want to work with you. It was a dream came true, but I we didn't stop there. So I think that was also what is good, what is important for an entrepreneur. Never stopping.
And did you have any one particular point during your time with the company that okay, this is a big day or this is a big event that happened, which maybe propelled you to bigger things?
I remember a day when we were in the office, old office, first office. Uh, we had still a fax. I don't know if you know what is a fax, but because you're young, but the fax, no. Uh, and we used to send the contracts to our new customers and get back the contract signed. So we were in the office. The fax start, no, pushing out the paper. You know the fax and we start looking at the logo. The first image of the fax was a logo. It was a step by step the Barcelona logo. So it was the day that we signed with Barcelona. Mm. Of course, in the office was a wow, a great party because of that. Because Barcelona at that time was the number one clubs in the world, and they decided to start using Wyscout. It was a great day.
Definitely, yeah, I do remember facts because I think recently also I think David De Gea could not move to Madrid because of a fax.
Yeah, yeah, still used.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So like again, like this might be a big person, and you touched on it, like how when when you collaborated or when you joined hands with Huddle, you all became even bigger. But why did you do that? Like you all were already big and you all were already going places in terms of football. Why did you take the step to maybe join with the Huddle?
Because I think we arrived to a point where Wyscout was a leader in the market. Uh, we get 70% of the level one, tier one in football. Eh, we were a consolidated leader, market leader. For us, was difficult to start a new project because the company was not small. When you are small, you can change, you can move. So the company became a bit too big, and we needed something fresh. But of course, also we thought a lot. What could be the next for Wyscout? We thought about, for example, started developing other sports. But sincerely, to develop other sports, you need to be in US. At the end, the business of other sports is not in Europe. Also, to go to US, of course, you must be 20, 25. I was 40 with kids, with family. It's not easy. So we when Huddle is a big US company, they started with American football, and then with the colleges, with other sports, working more with the coaches than for scouting. So they started from match analysis, and we started from recruiting. So the combination of the companies was great. The goal was bringing Wyscout to other sports, integrating the teams. So since it was a win-win situation, I think, of course, as the entrepreneur, I told you, an entrepreneur cannot stop, but of course must be reasonable. At the end, there is is not a dreamer. I don't think the entrepreneur is not a dreamer. It's a really concrete person that analyzed the market, the industry, the potential. So this is when you decide, okay, take the decision and then go deep. So it was the approach was good. Today, I'm happy after 1 year and a half. We joined the group Huddle 1 year and a half ago. We are happy. The team is happy also because we are from a small town in Italy. Now my team is working for a US group, more international path of career, more opportunities to grow. So I think it was a decision good for our team, good for, of course, the founders of the company, and good for the future of Wyscout that is still bright. And the point was, for me, Wyscout we built something. Wyscout is something in football today. Okay, that will never be removed. So that was the point.
Definitely. And if someone from Nepal has used Wyscout, and you said like where you come in Italy, it's very far. So I mean, you are big enough like to know like such a
Yeah,
distance. So, yeah, like people know you in this part of the world. That means you are a big thing in football, and you have left your mark.
yeah. This is what we like.
Definitely. And so like I'll wrap it up with one final question, and like you have started from basically from scratch, and you have built such a big company, which now is even bigger with your recent
Yeah.
like tying up. And if you had to give one piece of advice to maybe entrepreneurs, not only related to football but general, because you have gone through everything right now, like starting from scratch, being the leader, and even merging with another company, what advice would you give an entrepreneur?
I told you a bit before. For me, an entrepreneur is something really concrete that you must be aware of the market, of the potential, how to. An entrepreneur needs a bit of vision. For me, vision is really important, but vision is related to the figures also. For me, profit and loss, Excel, no, you must see something in where there's nothing. This is, I think, the big value. To create value, you cannot create value where the value already exists. You must create value where the value you can see the value that others cannot see. This is for me an entrepreneur. Imagine the future, anticipating a bit the future, and then be really concrete in finding the way to reach what you have in mind.
Definitely. And like on that note, Matthew, thank you so much for talking to me, and I wish you all
Thank
the
you so
best
much.
for your whatever endeavors you have with Wyscout. Make it even more bigger. Probably have more bigger presence in Nepal. Maybe that's the only thing I can hope, and hope to talk to you again soon, and maybe even meet you maybe probably someday. You never know.
Why
And
not? Why
till
not?
then, till then, take care, stay safe. Thank you once again. Bye.